Rockstar UK. In this episode, we're working on my dad's 1973 Mark 1 RS2000. So this thing's just had a full engine rebuild. He's had a hell of a lot of trick work done to the head. The block is already fully forged and everything. So I'm just wiring up the throttle body setup at the moment, and some of the sensors that are down here. I'll just check the starter motor. And what we're basically doing is trying to get this ready so that we can fire it up today. He's got a new stainless steel manifold, which is a 105 speed tubular manifold, which is a 4:1, and then stainless throughout. We have got some issues with some of the brackets, sort of like midway up the car are a bit different to his original setup, so we're just going to have a look into that. Excuse me. Right underneath the car, we've done a few trick bits, such as these steering rack, what do you want to call them, brackets. We got, I don't know if you can see it behind it, there's a high torque starter motor, there's a remote breathing kit, all sorts of stuff. So as you can see, there's no exhaust, but it is a really clean and strong example of a Mark 1 RS2000. The whole front end suspension system, as you can see here, is all fully adjustable, and it doesn't have anti-roll bar anymore because of having these additional rods here. And it's a really nice setup. Alright, next thing we're going to do is start trial fitting the exhaust. So we're going to stick that slip on there and get the V-bang clamp up together, and then basically start routing it back down the other end. Alright, so we've done a huge amount of work. Fitted up the exhaust. Let me show you. So as you can see, it's towards the top up here, it's a V-band joint, and then it slips on, as you can see. It then comes across the prop, comes quite close to the prop up here. There's one joint there, and as it goes towards the axle, there's a joiner up there, which is just up there. And then we got the nice new stainless back box. There's Father Baker. So this actually mounts slightly differently, because you see the two hangers here. The old exhaust used to have like a hanger that went round the tip, and then you held it on with two little donuts. But this one actually bolts to the chassis rail just up there. So, don't want to be that close to me. We've also gone and connected up the starter motor, all the sensors, and then we put the rad in. I had to do a little bit of wiring here, and we've just filled it up with oil, and we're just about to put all the power to it, check if there's any fuel leaks, check if there's any fuel leaks, and well, basically get it ready to fire up. Right, so we're just turning it over at the moment. Obviously this is not going to start because we've got no plugs, no leads, and the dizzy cap's off at the moment, and we're literally just turning it over to get the oil flow going around. I can smell fuel now, so it's obviously letting, but there's no leaks on the actual system, which is good, because that was one of the main things we wanted to check. So checking the fuel pressure regulator, checking the lines. We've did some alterations to the injectors. We will be going bigger injectors eventually, but at the moment, with the map that we got on, we're just going to use the yellows at the moment. So we're basically just getting the oil to flow around the engine, and it is loosening it up the more and more we do it. But next thing really is to get it started. At the moment we are just checking the timing on the distributor to basically check if it's top dead center on the bottom pulley down there, because it's quite common you can get 180 degrees out on these engines, even on the Pintos as well. It's pretty common. So we're going to try it out in a bit and I'll come back to you in a sec. Right, so we've had a little bit of an issue with the engine. We took the plugs out and basically was turning it over without compression so it could get the oil going around. We weren't getting any oil pressure, and so that caused us a little bit of a concern. So we started to hear a little bit of a noise, which is like a, which is on the rotation. Nothing too untoward at first. So we phoned up the engine builder. The very next day he come around and he said, I'm not happy with that. So we got to take the engine out and he's going to find what the problem is. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Our engine builder is one of the best in the business, but unfortunately there's an error of some sort with our engine. So we'll keep you up to date and I'll document taking it out, because we're going to take the engine back out again. And the engine builder was like, oh, I'm ever so sorry. He was the most apologetic you could ever come across. So he said whatever it'll do, it will get back. So I said if it's an end, or my dad said if it's an end gone, we want the crank reground. And he was like, yeah, of course, no worries, we'll sort it out. It will come back perfect. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and I'll keep you updated. I think the next video I'm going to do is I'm going to service my Ruckus, do oil and gearbox oil change. So I can show you how I do that, like the right quantities of oil to put in, what oil to put in, and just generally looking after your bike. I've got to use mine a bit more frequently now because we've got some heavy roadworks going around my area and I don't want to get stuck in traffic. So see you all guys soon.